Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy you are here today. Today I'm sharing with you what I am putting on the table for my family of 6. I love cooking good food from scratch. And like I always say, I'm restoring home, family, and spirit through tried and true homemaking skills. It literally and seriously pained me to not post this video last week with you guys, but I was so sick from shingles. I had shingles on my face and I could actually physically not do this voice recording. Thanks so much for the prayers, love, and support that you have all given me here on the channel, for the messages. It means the world to me. And if you are new here, welcome. Welcome to our community here on the Pioneer Home. It's such a happy, supportive, loving community of homemakers from all around the world. And I want you to know that I see you. I read your comments. I read all of them, actually. And I am grateful that you are here. So to start out this morning, we are having a really simple sausage and sweet corn and pepper and onion little scramble. We went out to go visit our Amish friends. We have a lot of Amish community where we live and lots of farming, and we actually do lots of shopping with them. And that's where we get our raw cow's milk when we do that. Recently, we went over there, and I'll share some of that later on in the video. And so today's meals are kind of Amish inspired. I have an Amish cookbook that I was looking through. And so this was inspired by a sweet corn egg scramble that I saw in one of the recipes. As summer is on its way, we've got the garden going. That's going to change a lot of the way that the meals look, using a lot of the fresh produce that is going to be coming out of the garden. And I can't wait for the sweet peppers and tomatoes and corn to start growing and to be making fresh salsa again. We stumbled across a new plant nursery nearby our home, and it was so gorgeous. It just made my heart sing. I had to share it with you guys. It was absolutely beautiful. The cutest little young Amish family started their very own nursery, and we were so happy to come and support them. And I bought a bunch of fresh new herbs. While we were here, the rain started pounding on the greenhouse, and it was just a beautiful, magical moment. Of course, there are other businesses and cute little shops nearby. There are a few really cute antique shops that I love to stop in when we have time. And we also went to a beautiful candle store and got to see them making some of their candles. And I picked a couple of them up. I love having good, delicious smelling candles going in my home. It kind of sets the mood. And then we all went out for a family lunch to a really country, home-style cooked meal. And our favorite was their chicken noodle soup and Reuben sandwich with sauerkraut. And we don't go out to eat very often, so it felt like a treat. Today for lunch, we are having personal-sized pizzas. I pulled out some honey whole wheat pizza dough from the freezer. And not too long ago, we made pizzas on a Friday night. I doubled the recipe and put the rest of it in the freezer. And what a blessing that was to be able to pull it out today for lunch and be able to make some pizzas for lunch. And it's really easy to whip up some of your own pizza sauce. I'm just using an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. And to that, I add salt and sugar, garlic powder, some Italian seasoning, and a little bit of olive oil. And I mix that all up together. And there you go, homemade pizza sauce. And if you have extra, you can put it in the freezer. Save it for the next time you make pizza. But I just try to keep it pretty simple. I like to keep bulk mozzarella and bulk cheddar cheese. I even have a bulk size of pepperoni that I got from the Amish market that I showed you guys. And I keep that in the freezer. And it's nice to just be able to pull that out, and it's already shredded and ready to use. I like lots of vegetables on my pizza, and so do most of the people in this house. So we're chopping up some onions and peppers and really just whatever we have on hand. A little bit of spinach and arugula. And I think just one of my kids really prefers cheese, and that's fine. And I'm going to bake these up in the oven at 400 degrees, probably for about 15 to 20 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. They're not going to take too long since they are personal size pizzas. But it's just a great, easy lunch. It's easy when your pizza dough is already made up and in the freezer. Makes for a really quick lunch. This is a pizza dough recipe that I use all the time. It actually comes up in the food processor, and I've shared it with you guys before. But I can put that down in the description box below in case you want to use it. Look at all this tender lettuce that needs to be eaten. This is the best time to be cutting the lettuce in the garden and making fresh salads and enjoying that, because sooner or later that hot weather is going to come and all this lettuce will go to seed. I love the spring lettuce. Another treasure we've been enjoying from the garden are these little ruby red strawberries. It's like a gift every time you go into the strawberry patch and you find little surprises under the leafy green leaves. Oh, how I love the late spring, warm, mild weather here in Missouri. Please stay a little bit longer. For dinner tonight, we are going to be having a homemade chicken noodle soup with homemade egg noodles. So I'm just pulling out the Instapot, and the night before we roasted chicken, and I always keep all of the bones and all of the leftovers of baked chicken to make chicken stock the next day. It's already bursting with flavor from being roasted with garlic and lemon and herbs, and so it's going to make really delicious stock. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to it and put it here in the Instapot. I love how quickly stock comes together in the Instapot. I used to boil my chicken in water for hours and hours, which you still can do, and it makes beautiful chicken stock or if you have an Instapot, it makes really quick work. Now I'm putting together my egg noodles. I'll make sure to put the recipe down below, but it's so simple. Just a few eggs, salt, and flour. For Mother's Day, Jared bought me a pasta maker. And so this is actually my first time using my new pasta maker, and I'm so excited. I'm just putting on the dough attachment onto my mixer here, and I'm gonna let that knead the dough here for a few minutes until it all comes together and forms a ball. The dough seemed a little bit dry, but letting it sit out on the counter for 30 minutes really helps it all come together. There are so many amazing seasoned homemakers that watch this channel. If you have a really wonderful pasta recipe that you want to share, go ahead and share it in the comments below. I would love to see your recipes. The dough did feel a little bit dry, so I'm putting it in a plastic bag to let it rest for 30 minutes. I sprinkled a little bit of water in here. You just don't want your dough to be wet and sticky when it's going through the pasta maker, so it has to be fairly dry. I thought I would share with you guys one of my Amish friends' recipes. I picked up this Amish cookbook from the library, and lo and behold, I found my friend that I get fresh cow's milk from, found her recipe here in this book. And so, of course, I had to try it and I had to share with you guys. It is a pecan blondie. Today, I'm roasting up some hazelnuts instead of pecans. But it's just a really simple, quick, and delicious buttery blondie. I thought we could enjoy it tonight with a little bit of herbal tea at the end of the day. The recipe is 3/4 a cup of brown sugar plus 2 tablespoons, 1 egg, a half a cup of melted butter, slowly poured in so you don't cook your egg mixture, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla, I have my hazelnuts toasting up in the cast iron skillet. I love toasted nuts. They smell so good. And 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, I think you really could add walnuts or pecans, hazelnuts, whatever your favorite nuts are. Chop those up and add about a half a cup to 3/4 a cup. I think I added closer to 3/4 a cup of nuts. And then my friend called for white chocolate to go in here. I didn't have any white chocolate. I did have cinnamon chips. So I did about 3/4 a cup of cinnamon chips. And then it's a cup and 3/4 a cup of all-purpose flour. Mix that all together and put that in an 8x8 baking sheet. And cook that in the oven at 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes, it says. And seeing this coconut, I believe we added a half a cup of coconut to this recipe as well, but I think you could give or take. And we're going to sprinkle a little coconut and nuts on top. Okay, so now our pasta dough is ready to go. It's been sitting on the counter while we were making blondies, and I was surprised to find how nice and moist the dough was. As before, it felt quite dry, but letting it sit really allowed the flour to soak up the water, and it's perfectly ready to go. So I'm cutting it up into 3 pieces here, and we're only going to use one of these 3 pieces to make our pasta. So I'm rolling it out to a good thickness and the right shape to be able to put it through my pasta maker. What you don't see is the audience of little people watching the pasta go through the maker, and that was pretty entertaining for everybody. What is it about homemade pasta that just reminds you of dinners at grandma's house? In fact, one of my favorite shows to watch online is actually called Pasta Grannies, and it's a channel of Italian grandmothers making pasta in their Italian kitchens, and it's so cute and entertaining. So for our chicken noodle soup, I have some butter in here and some celery and onions and carrots, all of the typical flavors of chicken noodle soup. I saute that up with some butter, and then I add all of my herbs. I am doing some garlic powder. I love adding garlic to just about everything, and doing some Italian seasoning and a bay leaf, some salt and pepper. It's pretty simple. And now I'm just adding all of my chicken stock and then breaking up some of these noodles so they're not 3 feet long. And then I'm going to add that to my pot of broth and let that boil for about 2 minutes. It really doesn't take long. Hooray for the chicken. This is actually our own homegrown chicken. It's the first homegrown meat that we have here on our farm, and we're pretty excited about that, and so proud of that achievement. And it was such a great learning experience. I feel like everything we do here on our little property is just an education and teaching us how to do things, as well as teaching us and our children where our food comes from. This chicken noodle soup was delicious. I even added the juice of a whole lemon. I like lemon in our chicken noodle soup. I like the citrus that it adds and the depth. And it is also so good for you. All of that bone broth and lemon juice. So healthy. These past couple weeks have been a time of reflection for me, as I have sat in my bed recovering from shingles, not being able to get up and cook and clean and take care of things as I normally do. I had to rely on a lot of friends and family to come and help me recover. And one thing I learned is that if you don't take time to rest your body, it will all catch up to you, and you will be forced to lay down sooner or later. And so I really learned a hard lesson here. And that was the importance of listening to your body and resting when it's time to rest. It's important to take time each day to sit down at the end of the day when your work is done and to put your feet up and read a book, rest your mind, let your worries melt away, and just really rest your body. So tonight, we're taking a minute to enjoy these hazelnut coconut blondies and enjoy a nice cup of clover tea. The kids and I picked those clovers today, and I'm trying to be more intentional about slowing down and resting my body. I hope that you enjoy this video today. Please look in the description box for recipes, and I look forward to hearing from you in the comments down below. And I hope to see you next week for another video on restoring home, family, and spirit, and I'll catch you next time. Love you lots.